Then again, as for our y's of 1 column, since we have now the pivot element, so our next step is we have to replace the other values in y's of 1 column into 0. In doing that, again, we have to apply the elementary row operation with respect to element 1, which is now in our first row, and first row now is our reference row. Now, to make the 1, 6 into 0, we have to consider the element 1. So, therefore, our elementary row operation is that the element in row 2 is now replaced by row 2 minus 1, 6 of row 1. For the negative 4, we can now set into 0 or convert it into 0 by using the elementary row operation, as that element in row 3 is now replaced by element in row 3 plus 4 times of row 1. And then for our next simplex W, since we don't have to change the elements in row 1, so just simply rewrite the elements in row 1. But for the elements in row 2 and row 3 can now be replaced by applying or using this elementary row operation. So then for row 2 elements, applying this elementary row operation, this is now row 2 minus 1, 6 of row 1. So this is 1, 6 minus 1, 6, so the answer is 0. 1, 6 minus 1 over 24. Why is it 1 over 24? Because we have to multiply by 1, 6. 1, 6 minus 1 over 24 is now equal to 1 over 8 as reduced. 1 minus 0 is still 1. 0 minus 3, 8 of times 1, 6. This is now actually 1 over 16. So, minus 1 over 16. 1, 6 minus negative of 1, 8. So, this is now a positive. So, 1, 6 plus 1 over 48. So, the answer is reduced as 3 over 16. 0 minus 0 is 0. 25 over 3 minus 1/6 of 95 over 4. So, this is 25 over 3 minus 95 over 24. The answer is reduced as 35 over 8. And for the elements in row 3, this is now element in row 3 plus 4 times of row 1. So this is simply negative 4 plus 1 plus 4, and this is equal to 0. Negative 2 plus 1. Why is it 1? Because times 4. Negative 2 plus 1, the answer is negative 1. 0 plus 0, the answer is 0. 0 plus, this is multiplied by 4, so this is now 3 halves. So 0 plus 3 halves, the answer is 3 halves. 2 minus 1 half, so the answer is 3 halves. 0 plus 0, the answer is 1. 100 plus 4 times of 95 over 4, and that is 95. So then 100 plus 95 is 195. But then again, as you can see here, there's still a negative value in the last row. So then this is our next pivot column, because we have to remove the negative sign here or negative value in the last row. And then we have to consider again our pivot element by dividing the constant value to each coefficient in y2 column. So that will be our next step. Dividing the constant by the coefficient of y's of 2 column. This is now 95 over 4 divided by 1/4. The answer is 95. 35 over 8 divided by 1/8. The answer is 35. So then between 95 and 35, the quotient of 35 is lower than the 95. Then the divisor of 35, which is 1 over 8, is now our pivot element. And the position of that pivot element, which is the second row, is our pivot row. For the pivot element, we have to express into 1. Then, in order to do that, we have to multiply by 8. But we have to multiply all the elements in row 2 by 8. So, what will happen? This is now 0 for y's of 1. Y's of 2 is now 1. Y's of 3 is 8. For u is negative 1/2. For For V, this is now 3 over 2. For P, 0. And for the constant column is now equal to 35. So as you can see here, this is our next simplex W. But then again, we have to remove the other values in y's of 2 column or set the other values in y's of 2 column into 0. Again, applying or using the elementary row operation with respect to 1, which is our pivot element, and the second row is our pivot row.